Hey everybody, my name is Casey and welcome back to my YouTube channel. In today's video, we are going to be talking about how you can use the new 2.0 update items for builds on your island. Today we will be focusing on making kind of a rustic and countryside cafe right next to my resident services. So this is the area that we have to work with. And as we go throughout this video, I will explain some different tips and tricks I use with the different items to create castles in buildings. So it looks like a little town, but I'm gonna just go ahead and get right into the speed build, and then I will stop in throughout the video and let you know what I'm working on. I first want to go ahead and figure out how to use that pathing that's like a diagonal road pathing. That's really what inspired my theme for this island. So I'm gonna start laying that down, and then I will be back in a bit. So the main issue that I was running into when I was using this path is kind of how to close it off. You'll see what I mean in a bit, because there are only a limited, I don't want to say limited, but a certain number of tiles that have been created for this pathing. And so trying to figure out an edge for it can be tricky, but the same creator has this kind of border style pathing. So that's just what I am using right now to kind of give it an edge, or kind of the start and end of the road. I do have to play around with this border a couple different times because I just kept getting it confused, but eventually we do figure it out. And then I feel honestly, you guys, I spent probably at least 2 to 3 hours trying to find a good kind of border for this pathing, because it was hard to get the specific colors to match. And the whole time the creator of this diagonal road had that kind of border pathing under their MA. I just didn't think to use it, but I think it looks okay. It's not, ideal, but I think it fits for what we need it for. So I'm gonna just go ahead and finish up doing the rest of this pathing, and then we will work on the next part of this build. So over here, I'm gonna just put down this medieval building side. I just think that it will give the effect of making this whole area kind of a little, maybe European city or walkway area. And then of course I just have to edit this pathing one more time, but I'm going to be using a lot of the medieval side building pieces, and then the castle building pieces and the castle wall. And so now I just want to go ahead and extend out this cliff a little bit to give myself a little bit more room to work with. It's been a bit of a struggle trying to figure out how I'm going to make these areas transition from one to another. So I think I've mentioned this before, but this entire theme is very, very new to me. So I'm kind of just playing it by ear and experimenting as I make these videos for you guys. And right here, I found this really pretty tile pathing code. So we're going to have a little seating area on that side. I just have to, again, figure out how I'm going to go ahead and kind of make the edges for that tile pathing. So I'm totally not used to doing stuff like this. I'm used to using very natural, the path codes or whatnot, but I think it's fun to try a completely new theme and experiment with it. So here we're just laying down some bushes and some fencing, and then I'm going to play around with some different items for this seating area. I really, really like this white garden bench. I think it looks nice next to the medieval side buildings. And then I'm actually using this wheat field a couple times. I just think that it looks really nice, and it's a nice little placeholder. And right here I'm just going in and adding in these castle towers to kind of give that castle look or effect. I am rotating the colors as well. I just think it matches better. And for this area right here, I'm going to use this castle wall and turn it sideways because I want to make kind of a little street area going through here. And then I'm going to just figure out the placement of a couple more items, and then I will continue throughout the rest of this build. And then I'm going to try and figure out how I can place some trees in this area. And then right here, I'm just going in with this kind of border for the pathing to kind of show that the pathing will be ending right here before transitioning it to a different pathing. And once again, I'm having a little bit of a hard time with it, but that is okay. So I'm going to be honest, for this part of the build, I started to struggle a little bit. I wasn't sure kind of how to transition this area from different types of pathing. I wasn't sure what items to use, but I just started like grabbing items that I thought would fit within this color scheme, like the garden wagon I think looks really nice, and then some different stunted trees. Another thing I'm trying to do on this island is maintain the symmetry, so I think that's another part that's making it a bit more difficult than it needs to be. I thought of using this like castle arch, but I didn't like how it looked at the end of the day, so I just continue on trying out different items. And then as far as getting this pathing to transition from one area to another, I found this like really pretty step code that I'll be showing you guys that I'll be using actually in this area. At first I'm trying out this tile code. Looking back, I think it ended up looking okay, but I just think the steps fit a little bit better, and it's kind of just like more within the theme that I'm going for this area. And so I just kind of fill in the area I want to have steps in, and then here I'm just trying to like figure out the symmetry with the diagonal pathing. I think this has been one of like the most challenging and rewarding builds that I've ever done, but I really like the end result, so be sure to stick around so you don't miss that. And also, if you are enjoying this video, please subscribe to my YouTube channel, as it really helps me out. One other thing that I did want to announce is that I am working on channel membership, so I'm really excited to bring that to you guys and share that with you all. I would totally love to hear your feedback for ideas for different tier names for the channel memberships. There's 6 different tiers, and I'm trying to think of like a name that goes well with like Casey or Casey Crossing, but I just can't think of anything. So if you can think of anything, please drop it in the comments below. But anyways, back to this build. We are still continuing to work on this area right here with the diagonal pathing, and this is the part of the build where I start to get like really excited because I'm seeing it all kind of come together, and that just kind of makes me feel more and more inspired. So I'm going to put down these medieval side buildings, and then I'm trying to find an item to cover up that little spot right there between the tiles and the diagonal pathing, but I couldn't think of one, so I just left it be. And then I'm going to just fill out the rest of this area with these medieval side buildings or castle style buildings, and then we will continue to work over here. This is where I'm going to have like a little cafe and a little seating area. It does end up coming together really nicely, so I'm going to work on this area for a bit, and then I will stop back in. What I'm thinking for this area is that I'll be able to have a little seating area right here, and then one over by the medieval side building. So I'm just laying down some pathing for this, and then I will head over and try and figure out the pathing and seating area by the medieval side building. I am just kind of testing out random items right here first. So as I'm laying this kind of tile pathing down, I'm realizing that I'm going to want this area over here to be a bigger seating area, and so I wind up taking down the seating area that I had just worked on and removing the pathing because it's not going to flow nicely together, so I'll figure out something else to put over there. I do leave the pathing for now, and then here I'm just putting in a bush, and then I'm going to I'm going to remove the rest of this pathing here because like I had mentioned, it just doesn't fit that well in this area. I do wind up finding this really pretty brick pathing code that I think will just fit a lot better and flow nicer in this area, so I'm going to just lay this down. And so now that I have most of the pathing figured out, this is kind of my favorite part, going in and filling in this area with different items and fencing. So we'll let you all watch me do that for a little bit, and I will explain any tips I have in the meantime or throughout this little next section of the build. So right here, I am gonna just come over to this next section of this cafe area, and I'm using this beautiful code to kind of surround that tile code that I have. I just think this code works really perfectly for filling in certain areas or transitioning from one code to another. And then I'm gonna start the build for the cafe. So I know I want a little counter table, and this new counter table item is perfect. And then I'm gonna just go in and decorate like a little cashier area, cash register area. So I have the mom's pen stand and then the little cashier cash register, and then I'm using this bistro table with a customization of pink on the top part, and then I'm going to just make a little seating area and fill in the rest of this cafe. I really like these large vases that we have, and again, the wheat field is a really great filler item for kind of awkward or 1x1 tile spaces. And then for this area, I'm just trying to find like a crate or like a box kind of type of item that I could put down to display some food. I really like these barrels, so I move them in the back because they are larger. And then I am using these decorative bottles. I just think that adds a nice little touch. And then I'm adding a candle set on top of the barrels. And then I am gonna just play around with the seating area a bit more, trying to find a chair that will be able to match the bistro table. I really like the new peacock chair. And then I'm gonna just fill in the rest of this kind of like side cliff area, and then this section of the cafe will almost be completed. So I hope you all are enjoying this video. If you are, definitely let me know in the comments, and if you would like to see more builds like this, I would love to hear that. And also, I hope you all are having a good day. I'm actually recording this around like 7:30 at night while I am working. Work is pretty slow right now, so I have time for a video, but that's just kind of what I am doing right now. But I hope you all are having a good day or night wherever you are. And so now I'm just putting some of the finishing touches on the cafe, putting down some filler codes, and then I'm going to come over here and place some more of these kind of building items, the medieval sidewall, and then fix the trees and pathing. So right here, I'm just going in and filling in the rest of the steps for this area. I feel like this step code is really perfect, and it's a nice way to transition from one path to another. So what I'm doing right here is just going in and filling in any little empty spaces that I have with either items or fencing, and I really am so obsessed with the fact that we can have our little white picket fencing. I just think that's so cute. And then I'm just using some filler codes, and then I just want to go in and come back here and fill in this cliff area a little bit. As you can see, it'll look nicer, especially for my flyover if I have that area filled in back there, but I'm not going to focus on too much of that in this build, otherwise it would just take me way too long. So up here, I'm just using the plant partition and then the wood partition. I just think that adds some nice height to this area. And then we are almost done with the build, so I will take you all on the final walkthrough in just a moment here. Okay, so here we are. This is my completed kind of like countryside cafe with the new 2.0 update items. As you can see, I have a little seating area right here with the little cruiser bike, the wheat field, the flower bed, a bunch of the new items. And then if we come across here, you'll see Felicity and Chevra, and they are just walking on the diagonal road like two little cuties. But if you come over here, this will be our completed cafe. So I'm really happy with how this turned out, especially with it being a new theme for me. It's definitely been challenging, but also very rewarding when I'm able to make the whole area come together. So if you have enjoyed this build, let me know. I would love to show you more of my new island. But other than that, thank you all so much for watching this video. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel, as it really helps to support me. I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your day, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!